Welcome back to another video.
Videos. Do not obey. Stay woke.
When the horse stood up.
Ancient spiritual technology. Demons. Videos.
Heard these stories from your nanas with pawpaws.
Okay. Peace.
Antarctica is a lot different than you think. Videos like this paint it as a barren yet beautiful land of ice and snow, but apparently there are leaked photos that show us they're trying to cover up something big down there. Back in 1912, Captain Robert Scott led an expedition to the South Pole to map it out and take some pictures. This was 47 years before the Antarctic Treaty of 1959, which heavily restricted tourist travel to the majority of Antarctica. These were the photos released by National Geographic of the expedition. Just some family-friendly, fun adventure, right? But apparently, that was just the tip. And if you know, Robert Scott and his team went down there to map the South Pole, and these are the photos they took, which were hidden from the public and apparently recently got leaked. Ancient ruins, statues, and even what looked like pyramids of some long-lost civilization that they don't want anyone to know about. And the crazy part is, in March of 1912, just 2 months after these photos were taken, Robert and his whole team died on their journey back home due to starvation and extreme cold. And these photos got later recovered by some search party that found them. Now, doubters will tell you these photos are fake because Google told them, but even ancient maps painted Antarctica as green. And this map from 1512 even shows South America connecting to the Antarctic shoreline with incredible accuracy. Antarctica is twice the size of Australia and was thought to be ice-free as recently as 6,000 years ago. And we're supposed to believe ancient humans managed to find their way around every single continent in the world, even discovering the microscopic islands of the Pacific Ocean, and somehow they just fully skipped Antarctica even when it was a luscious green paradise. A lot of people argue these ancient ruins aren't real, and who knows, but you gotta keep an open mind, right? But what are confirmed real are these photos of what looks like a pyramid hidden under the snow in Antarctica. There are many photos that prove it exists, and even professors admit it. And obviously the Google debunkers will tell you, oh, it's a natural mountain formation formed through erosion, but I don't know what kind of looking ass mountains are cut this perfect. Even satellite footage confirms it, so I don't know, you think there's something down there, or are we the trippy ones?
Protection is one of the most sacred things you can do. You literally leave your body, attach it with a silver cord, and travel the fourth dimension. It's a real experience, not like a dream at all. It feels realer than being awake right now, because your soul is literally there. You can travel the universe and find the truth of everything. Think about all the stuff you can do legit though. You can visit family, you can even go back in time and see what stuff looked like in the past. You can go places that you're not allowed to go in the physical.
We gotta talk about the fourth dimension. We know that there are people who can experience the fourth dimension while being in the third dimension. Some people have clairaudience where they can hear beyond the normal human ear and hear sounds from the fourth dimension. You got clairsentient people who can read other people's emotions and feelings and also read the energy of rooms, houses, parks, basically picking up on the feeling of everything. Then you have clairvoyant, where actually able to see beyond the range of the human eye, aka seeing things in the fourth dimension, traveling anywhere you want to go. A lot of people call these experiences psychic abilities, and as you know, the average worldly person is only going to limit their 3D experiences to 3D abilities. Because this is like a 3D realm, they're only going to accept 3D things. Let's move forward because I want you to actually understand the fourth dimension and how it works. This next part is not to scare you, it's for awareness. I came across a video that perfectly explains the situation, and this is her TikTok. Before I show you the video, y'all know those glitches that be happening where like something disappears or there's a weird phenomenon that people can't explain? The Bermuda Triangle, things going missing, and people don't notice it. They don't really care, you know, it's not seen, they can't explain it, so it doesn't matter. Like situations like this. Where did the thing go that he just threw up? She's about to explain the things that we do to the second dimension is the same things that the fourth dimension could be doing to us.
Steal these gems without a key and without damaging the safe. And she would have no idea how they were taken. We should keep an eye out for ourselves. A four-dimensional creature could steal from our safes without a key, could take the yolk from an egg without breaking the shell, appear in a closed room, or see inside of our brains. fourth dimension is perpendicular to all of our normal 3D space-time.
AKA, while you're in the astral realm, you can see things that other people can't see. You can jump into people's dreams. Why sometimes we have glitches. But there's an interesting reason why people don't acknowledge the realms, the ghosts, and all the things that happen to us that we can't explain. Because our 3D mind tries to rationalize everything on a 3D level.
Able to break in without a key, but she hasn't taken into account the idea that a three-dimensional creature, such as myself, might be peering in from above. She doesn't even know the concept of above.
Hence why a lot of y'all are having a hard time accepting the concept of fourth dimensional beings, fifth dimensional beings, fourth dimensional experiences, people with psychic abilities. So now that y'all have watched this video, what do you think about the astral realm, the fourth dimension, all of that?
Y'all been paying attention to any of my videos, bro? But if y'all heard what just happened to LeBron James' kid, and then you remember what happened back in 2020 about this man and his family, right? Literally just was talking about this shit, bro. I said, yo, I got a real crazy feeling, bro. Time is coming down, bro. Remember they said 3 to 5 years and shit, right?
Ronnie James, the son of NBA star LeBron James, is now in the hospital after suffering cardiac arrest. He is thankfully in stable condition and no longer in the ICU. James is a freshman on the University of Southern California's basketball team. He was reportedly practicing when he collapsed on the court. His family says medical staff quickly treated him before taking him to the hospital. NBC's...
Hi everybody, it's really tough. Recently, really been no news. We're still, that just broke about an hour ago. This did happen yesterday though, and it's interesting because USC, this is not their first rodeo. Last July, another freshman had the exact same thing happen to him. He was actually hospitalized, he was revived, brought back to life. Same thing, perfectly healthy, had his cardiac arrest, and ended up being revived by the medical staff. So this is not a new thing for USC, unfortunately. They're well versed, and as LeBron and Savannah said, they were able to address this immediately and get him okay.
Maybe y'all just don't understand the memo, right? I told y'all already, man. Y'all really need to wake up!
Conspiracy theory, and I want y'all to please listen along to this. When you become croaked over and your body is down there at the morgue, do the Y incision and they take all the insides out and they drain your bodily fluid. I assume just like at the hospital they would dispose of that and call it like toxic waste, slap a red stamp on it. People pretend to come in there and get it to take it to an unknown location, right? But what if that unknown location is really a very well-known location, the water? Because do they got like a big ass tank for everybody who passed away bodily fluids? Roll with me, because if they put that into the regular drinking water, whether you gonna get it through the faucet like the tap or through the bottled water, is that why they got so many different levels to water, like purified and this percentage for alkaline? Like, what if it's unavoidable? They put it in all the damn water. It's a lot of creepy shit that be going on down there at the water plants, you know what I'm saying? I had a family member work over there, and it was just amazing to me to see how many people flush tampons knowing you ain't supposed to flush them, and what they do when they do gotta clean that water from the tampons, because they don't do nothing but clean it and bleach it, give it back to you, and then you bathe in it and you drink it and you cook with it. Ain't we just sipping on dead people? I'm not done yet. But if you driving down the road and you in a state that you ain't never been to before, or you in a city that you ain't never been to before, or you in the same city you grew up in, but you ain't never been to this park before, and you just look at something, like you look at a tree, and you just have a whole vivid memory of what happened at that tree, but you never in your life been at that fucking tree. What if it's because the person who was really at that damn tree, you ingested their ass? That's how you seeing the memories. What if that's why certain people can communicate with the deceased? Well, they can travel to different realms because it's like an overload of people DNA. Think about it. Supposedly took plenty people off the map, but I know that all them people didn't get cremated, or they didn't donate their body to science. And maybe a few percentage of them did, or maybe a few percentage of people couldn't afford a funeral, couldn't afford a cremation service, and they had to donate the body to science. But that was a lot of who they got took the fuck out from, you know, from what the news reported. Where did all them people go? Because you got bitches out here like me who be calling cemeteries up. Y'all know how many times I call Graceland Cemetery been open for years. Like, they been open before I was born. You still ain't ran out of room? So at this point, I feel like the water fucked, the air fucked, the food is definitely fucked, and the soil is fucked. Cause this is improving, but it do make you wonder. And I feel like if this is going on, this in the ingredients, that is another word for dead people. What do y'all think?
So tell me, do you believe, was Disney trying to tell us something? Crazy, right? Some things are just an optical illusion, right? Well, is this an optical illusion? Look at that and tell me you don't know what that is. Go ahead and tell me that confidently and mean it, because you know darn well what that is. You can see it. No, that's not a carving. That's a petrified animal from the days of old.
Do you see this?
Yes.
Do you see this?
Yep.
It's freaking nature, and it's freaking awesome.
Yes, it is. And I don't think science can properly explain how these animals were petrified so quickly to where they were able to preserve their form through all these years. And you know, that really got me thinking. There's plenty of statues on this earth that are thousands of years old. Now, what if they were petrified beings? Now, I know, it's just a thought. You can joke all you want, but I promise you truth is stranger than fiction.
Oh, but we may actually have, my friend. We may already have. Let's take a second to get a few people mad out there with these photos of excavated giant bones found all over the world. But why would they be mad? Oh, it's because these are fake. That's right. Every one of these photos of giant bones have been deemed fake, but I'm gonna show you the real ones. Photos like this are claimed to have been part of an archaeology Photoshop contest back in the day, but start off easy. These 6.5-foot femur bones are confirmed real and weigh around 1,100 pounds. But they were of course labeled as dinosaur bones, belonging to a species called sauropods. Real convenient being able to just slap a dinosaur label on any potential giant remains we ever find, huh? You know what? They might actually be dinosaur bones, so let's not jump to conclusions yet. Like this two-headed mummy discovered off the coast of Argentina in the 1600s, measuring 12 feet tall and currently on display in a museum, confirmed by many physicians to be real. Now there's this, a giant skeleton over 23 feet tall, uncovered in Ecuador and 100% confirmed real, which was later dismissed as an ancient sloth. Another photo from Ecuador, kinda blurry I know, but almost no evidence pointing to it being faked. Here's a giant footprint fossil in South Africa, 4 feet long and estimated to have belonged to a being 24 to 27 feet tall. And finally, there's this, a much more human-looking femur bone, and not as thick as the others. Dug up in the Euphrates Valley in Turkey, measuring 47 inches and estimated to have belonged to a giant over 20 feet tall. All confirmed real, and giant excavations like these used to get widely reported in newspapers all the time back in the late 18 to mid-1900s, but now they're always quick to sweep these under the rug for some reason. World's leading museum and research education institution created by the US government, accused of covering up all giant findings and instead putting the spotlight on how fake the fakes are. Like they did with the San Diego giant in 1865, which is one of the smaller ones, inspected by dozens of scientists and featured in many newspapers. First, the Smithsonian purchased the giant for a pretty large sum, and then all of a sudden, many years later, they dismiss it as a hoax, saying that it was made from gelatin and we never see it again. Even if real evidence were to come up, the alleged Smithsonian cover-up can easily just write a bunch of articles that discredit it as a hoax. We all know this isn't the first time governments and tech giants were caught deliberately manipulating data to control the narrative. A lot of the time, the difference between a conspiracy and fact is time. Now, I'm not saying this is 100% one of those cases, but keep that mind open, people.